G'day Tiger fans and welcome to another episode of Richmond's official live weekly podcast, Talking Tigers. It was tough yards down in Hobart on Friday night. The game wasn't the greatest and it was very, very cold, but it was tougher for tone on Saturday when the greatest of all time, the GOAT, Muhammad Ali, passed away. What a sad occasion. We're going to recount the greatest's life today and, of course, all your regular segments on Talking Tigers, including the unstoppable juggernaut that is JB's Club News segment. I'm going to have a little bit of a rant as well, and, of course, we're going to catch up on what the Chief got up to down in Hobart. But Tone and JB, welcome, boys. How are we?
Yes, a bit flat, Richo, but
yeah, that's
good to be here amongst friends.
Yeah, no,
ready to
right.
rip into it.
No, I was obviously flat after the game with that performance, 70-point loss, and then the news the next day that the greatest had passed away. And it's a great song off the top, Black Superman by Johnny Wakeland.
And that was a number one hit.
It was number one hit in, I think, 1975 it would have been. So after Muhammad had regained the title from George Foreman. And no, I don't mind admitting I shed a few tears.
Well, we're going to get onto that in just a minute in a little bit more depth. But if you want to get involved today, hashtag Talking Tigers. Give us a call for the quiz, 9426 4423. Tone's got a Ali Richmond related question that he's going to ask. You can win a TTT, and thanks to the Love Police and Brian Taranto for those. But boys, it's amazing when someone like Muhammad Ali passes away. Just the universal admiration and respect that was shown for him. It's incredible. You just realise how big he was.
Oh, look, he transcended boxing. I mean, he really did. He was an icon. Yeah. He was probably in many ways just represented, the 60s and 70s, that era.
Your heyday.
So culturally, it was. Yeah, and as I say, I shed some tears. I wouldn't have been the only one that would have shed some tears, but this is how big he was. So I was obviously at high school back then when he made his comeback. Yeah. We had a TV room at Bentley High School, as it was back then, and we were allowed to go in there and watch his comeback fight against Jerry Quarry, then his second comeback fight against Oscar Bonavina, and then when he fought...
At school, you watched
At school, and then when he fought Joe Frazier, which was the fight of the century, in March 71, we were able to watch his fights.
That's extraordinary,
at school.
I've got a quick story. I told it on the weekend on the radio, but if you didn't listen, obviously, to 3RW, we were in America in 1996 on a footy trip, and we'd been to New York and, New Orleans and San Francisco and Vegas, and our last stop was Los Angeles, and we'd been over there for about 15 or 16 days, and we'd had enough, we'd had a good time, and we thought while we're in LA, we'll go to some tourist attractions. So in LA, you go to Universal Studios in Hollywood there, obviously, and have a look around, and we're walking around, probably 15 to 20 Richmond players, and there was a hell of a commotion, and we thought, what's going on here? And we look over, and it was Muhammad Ali and his wife. They'd walked into Universal Studios, and you could hear his wife sort of going, I told you we couldn't do this, and he sort of wanted to be there and get around some people. So the security had to rush in, and, they roped off a section. They got a trestle table out and chairs, and we all lined up, all us Richmond boys, and I got a photo with Muhammad and Nick Daffy, so three of us, and had an autograph. But it was just incredible. He sat there for hours signing autographs, posing with the fist, and you'll never forget that.
Oh, that's huge. That. So is that photo taking pride of place?
Yeah, Nick's. I know Nick's got it up as well, and just incredible. Yeah, so I had a personal experience with the great man.
Yeah. But look, it was just to watch obviously over the weekend and watch some of his fights. The fight with Liston where he won the title, just amazing how quick he was, and he revolutionised the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
No one's ever seen a fighter with that sort of speed, and then of course he missed 3 years, so you wonder how good he could have been because he refused at his peak refused to go in and serve in the wars. In the Vietnam War, came back and obviously had put on a bit of weight, was a different sort of fighter, but still a brilliant fighter. I mean, that fight against Foreman, one of the most tactically brilliant things you could ever see. Yeah, well, the rope-a-dope. Everyone expected he had to, just get on his feet and dance and move and everything. He did the opposite, lean back on the ropes. And just Foreman just punched himself. He had nothing left,
Now, we've been waiting for these, JB. I know Tone has come in today. He wants to do a few Ali impersonations.
I don't want to be disrespectful,
but you wanted to do them.
Well, it just would go something like this. I am the greatest fighter of all time. I whoop George Foreman. I whoop Joel Frazier. Joel Fraser's going to come out smoking, and I ain't going to be joking. I'll be a pecking and a poking and pouring water on his smoking. Now, this might shock and amaze you, but I will destroy Joel Fraser. I'll finish with this. I like your show, and I like your style, but you pay us so cheap, I won't be back for a while.
Oh, very good, son. Give him a clap. Hey, know what I loved? I saw just quickly the Norman Gunston interview.
Oh, yeah.
That was brilliant. How good was Norman Gunston?
Brilliant. And also, you said that you watched the doco the other day.
I did. Well, when I got home,
we were Kings,
got home Sunday night from Perth.
It is, isn't it? If you haven't seen it, as Molly would say, do yourself a favour and watch it. It's one of the most brilliant. Not just about boxing. It's just a documentary in itself. It's just it was an award-winning documentary.
Yeah, it was. There's probably after that the next best sports doco's Centre, I reckon. But that's the best, I reckon. When we were Kings.
Yeah.
Anyway,
absolutely.
Hey, now I just want to give a plug to Freeze.
Oh, absolutely.
Freeze MND.
Yeah.
Neil Danaher nominated me on Friday night in Tassie, and it was an honour that Neil wanted us to be involved. So that's happening next Monday.
Yeah, you were probably colder in Tassie than you'll be when going down the slide.
It was good training.
Yeah.
Gee, it was cold. How cold was it, JB?
It was a little bit cold.
Unbelievable.
The locals, they loved it. Just a regular day down there. But
so anyway, if you can...
you're going down the slide?
So I'm going down. I nominated Matty Lloyd. So.
Okay, yeah.
But get online and donate if you can.
How do people get involved?
It's at Cure MND, and there's a website there. If you get on Twitter, all the links are there.
Because you've had a bit of practice at this when we did our OB at Cairns. Remember you did the OB...
How many years ago was that now?
It was about 3 or 4 years ago.
JB, we did an OB from Cairns one.
Yeah, I think we got a couple planned.
Yeah, well, we
had.
Yeah. But you also, now I'm just wondering also, because you did tell us the story about when you were in Germany a few years ago.
In Berlin.
Yeah, in Berlin.
Yeah.
And you went to the pool there, was that right?
We went to the spa.
The spa. Yeah. And you weren't allowed to have your shorts on,
Well, we walked in, myself and Jen, and, we had the board shorts and she had the bikini on JB, and I walked in and this old lady come charging out of the sauna.
For all right.
She had nothing on.
Oh.
And there was a bit going on. Anyway, she's run up to me and I'm jumping in the spa.
You didn't have a brush with the law there, did you?
No, I didn't. And she's just yelled out, "Shorts off!"
So would you be wearing shorts on?
No, I'm going to wear it. I think I'm going to do a tiger onesie.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Well, that'll keep you nice and warm.
Yeah. So anyway, get online and donate.
Cause.
It's an unbelievable cause, a horrific disease, MND. So we want to try and raise some dough. So if you can donate, thank you.
I'll tell you what, I was over the weekend just trying to look for the scores of my old school, Old Paradians.
Old Paradians, yeah.
They're not going so well, so I don't know why I was checking the scores.
What are they in, second or
they're in like Div 1 now.
Tony de Bolfo, the Beast.
Yeah, they used to...
Carlton. He talks about Old Paradians all the time.
They used to be not too bad, but now not going so well. So I went on to the VAFA website to have a look at how they're going, because that's the league they play in.
Yeah.
Guess whose mug showed up
on the VAFA website?
On the VAFA website, front row centre.
I don't know. Someone who's an amateur legend, I suppose.
Yeah. Our VFL man, Manfred.
No, he's moonlighting.
He's moonlighting. Doing some side you'd be proud of his work, Richo.
How'd he go?
Many projects.
Yeah, he's a man. He's got more on the go than anyone. Well, we'll ask him about that when he comes in.
We'll put that to him a bit later.
How's his performance?
Oh, it was sharp. Very sharp stuff. 4 guys around the table.
What was he wearing, as a matter of fact? He didn't have one of those ghastly jumpers on, did he?
He did.
Oh.
He claims, we'll get to it a bit later, I reckon. But someone else who was in the news this week that you might have seen, or not, is our former colleague AC.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's right.
He's had another baby, hasn't he?
He has. It was his birthday yesterday too.
Oh,
and
he wouldn't have tucked into a big platter of pasta last night.
He's going to be filthy with me. I didn't acknowledge his birthday. I'll have to get back in touch with him. Yeah.
The second child.
Another girl.
Yeah. Vivian.
Vivian Victoria.
Yeah.
Vivian Victoria.
He's only just started getting some sleep again, AC.
Yes, I know. Let's hope they have a better run. He and Sarah have a better. We send our very best to
well done, AC.
AC and Sarah.
Congratulations to AC. And off Twitter here, hashtag Talking Tigers at Redhead27's picked up on this over the weekend. Yeah. Big congratulations to Jack Rewaltz and Carly Ziegler on their engagement down in Hobart.
Is that right?
Over the weekend.
Oh, geez, she's planned that well.
After watching the Bulldogs on Sunday and Hunter and Wallace and Liberatore.
No, don't you talk.
It's time for...
Well, it's time for you to get working on this.
I'm trying.
Oh, good. All right.
Anyway, we better get into the quiz before we do those tweets. Well done to Jack, though. It's fantastic news.
It is great news, isn't it?
So what do you got, Tone?
Well, I've got to do this off the top of my head because I actually have my notes written down. I forgot to bring them in. I'm just struggling a bit here. But anyway, what I want to know is, okay, so this is tie-in with Muhammad Ali, the greatest, of course. Yeah. In 1973, right? Yep. September 1973, Muhammad Ali had a rematch with Ken Norton, who'd beaten him earlier that year. Yep. Norton broke his jaw. They had a rematch in September that year. Ali won a points. It was actually a points decision. It's close, but he won a points decision.
It's a split decision.
Split decision. A few days later, Richmond won a semi-final in 1973. Who did we defeat in that semi-final of 1973?
Semi-final 1973.
Which team did we defeat?
Who did Richmond defeat? And that followed the Ali Norton
just a few days later.
The split decision. So give us a ring, 9426 4423 to win a TTT.
Right, we've had a few tweets come through during the week.
Good work, Sconners.
Only a couple, actually, so we'll whip right through these. The first...
You're saying they're dropping off, are you?
No. Just a little bit.
My health's dropping off, I tell you.
Oh, will you lift? You'll get through it. You'll be right.
It's one for you to talk about, Greeners. This from Christmas Smith as well. Sean Griggs, in the form of his career, hashtag small victories. Well, you picked up on that?
I did. I did a story on that yesterday. He is Mr. Consistency. He has not dropped below 22 disposals.
He's had a good year.
Of the 10 games he's played this year. He's averaging, I think, over 26 disposals. Career high 38 on Friday night.
His run and willingness to run and work hard really stood out on Friday night.
Yes, it certainly did.
There's also winning high contested ball and tackles on Friday night too.
Yeah.
And Jess Benson from Hobart as well has picked up on that. Positives from Friday's disappointing game. So
she's always positive, Jess.
It was very disappointing for the Hobart folk down there.
The Hobartians.
Greg Cochin, Miles and Deledio. And she wants to know our thoughts on who we think comes in for this Sunday's game against the Gold Coast.
We've got to discuss that with Manfred too later.
Manfred will let us know who played well, but you're spot on. We left it to too few. I think we had 7 or 8 players. I know Supercoach points don't mean anything, but they were under 50. You can't win games if you don't get an even contribution. And all those players Jess mentioned, they did as much as they could.
And just the one email this week too.
Yeah, they are dropping off.
You've got mail.
They are dropping off, aren't they?
And this one's directed.
Is anyone listening out there?
No.
Hello.
Testing.
Is anyone there?
Testing 1 2.
This one's directed at you, Richo.
What's happened?
In regards to Richo's appalling record this year in the Black Book.
Yellow and Black Book specials.
Would it be better for him to nominate a player from the opposition so we can put the moz on him? And that's from Rensman. And
well, you know what?
I think Richo has a reply.
Yes.
Who was that email?
Rensman.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Rensman.
Yeah, wait a few minutes.
You just hang around for this week's Yellow and Black Book specials because I've knocked it out of the park.
It's fair to say you're feeling cocky all over.
I knocked it right out of the park, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, righto.
Don't worry about that, Rensman.
Okay. So the right reply will be coming.
Yeah, 1 out of 12.
I haven't got many right.
11.
But gee, I hit it out of the park this week. Didn't I?
See what, I'll hit you out of the room in a minute.
Jeez, I'm crook.
Stop coughing all over me, John.
Well, the Chief, it was homecoming of sorts for the Chief down there in Hobart, wasn't it?
Did they have the red carpet out?
Oh, did they have the red carpet out? He is bigger than Ben Hur down there in Tasmania.
Oh yeah, is Ben Hur the Premier?
No, that's Will Hodgman. Will Hodgman's the Premier, and he's not even from the south. He's from the north.
I know.
He's from the northwest coast. What's wrong, JB?
No, I'm just finding it humorous.
I think he's united Tassie though, hasn't he?
He has. If anyone could bring Tasmania together, it's our man, the Chief. He had a huge weekend down there. On Thursday night, he went out for a steak meal down at Rockwell on Salamanca.
Is that the place?
Oh, yeah, that's where you go. That's Gary Baker, former Melbourne ruckman, Big Bakes.
Bakes?
The chief was in there holding court with all his colleagues from the times when he was on the board of AFL Tasmania.
What cut of meat would be the choice?
He had the Cape Grim off fillet, he did. Medium rare. He even had the decanter out. Can you believe this? He got a bottle of red, right?
Yeah.
And he got out. He made the Bakes go and get Bakes' crystal decanter just to let the wine just settle in a little bit and air out a bit. The chief.
What it would have been? What sort of red?
It was the Hill of Grace. Don't worry about that. He might have even got a Grange out, the chief. But anyway, so that was Thursday night. He had a good night down there at Rockwell, just holding court. And then at the game on Friday, you may have noticed on TV, he was hovering around Gil McLachlan.
Oh, yeah.
All the AFL executives were down there because it was a big thing in Tassie, first Friday night game. You may have noticed on the broadcast, Chief simulating taking a mark.
I did see that.
Because you weren't down there. JB was down there.
I did see that.
But he was simulating to Gil McLachlan. He had the Jukes out in front.
Yeah.
He had the
thumbs
behind the ball,
the
W, and he was simulating wildly to Gil McLachlan.
He was.
Yeah, so I saw Gil after the game, and I said, what was going on there with the Chief? He said that the Chief was running him through the 12 marks he took at Bellerive, which is Blundstone Arena, when he was 18 years of age
for the Burnie Hawks.
He tore that game apart there in, I think it was 1990. When did he come over?
No, it would have been 89 or 88.
88 it was.
88, yeah.
Yeah, at Bellerive. Wow. Burnie Hawks v Clarence.
Really? Did he kick a few goals? I wonder he didn't sort of simulate the kicking as well.
He plucked 12 from the sky down there. So he had a big night there, pumping himself up to Gil McLachlan. He then went to the after party up at the Islington Hotel. And I wasn't there, so I'm not sure what happened there.
He could have painted the town beige, wouldn't he?
But then on the way home... He was, of course, situated in 1A again.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But on the way home, a photo was taken from a Richmond staffer.
Yeah.
And the chief is standing up in business, just bobbing his head over.
Oh, yeah. Saying, look at me.
Just wobbling around. Look,
this is what it's like here.
I'm up here in 1A.
Yeah, look at me.
Look, this is, if you want to work hard in life...
This is where you can get.
This is where you can get to, up here in 1A.
It's sickening, isn't it?
But at least he talks to people in the rows behind him. No, he does. He does, though. So he came home business class, the chief, and was showing off up there in business class. So he had a big weekend down there in Hobart, the chief.
Massive.
Yeah.
Absolutely massive.
Hey, Tone.
Wow. Really, everything else is just a filler until this, isn't it?
This is
We're just filling time until this.
I don't know if I can back it up this week.
Don't let us down because that sting is...
I'm not sure I can deliver.
You have to be worthy of the sting.
It's a real banger, that sting, isn't it?
Yes. This Sunday, after you've been to your nightclubs on Saturday night, come along to the Gold Coast game. Richmond v Gold Coast at the MCG from 3:20 p.m.
Yep.
Kids come free this weekend, so
bring the family along.
That's right. Registers now at richmondfc.com.au/kidsfree for your free tickets.
I heard there was something else going on. Is there free meals or something?
Yeah, kids entertainment. Yeah, MCG meal deals.
Free meals
works. Not free meals.
Oh, MCG.
There's no way known Stephen Goff would give away free meals.
Free meals at the G.
3 or 4.
Yeah. So get along to there.
That's all right.
Kids' activities and the like.
Yeah.
And the last bit of club news I have that we. Happened.
That's it.
Jeez, you've knocked it out of the park today.
We go. You have the most outstanding, inspirational, spine-tingling sting of all time, and you have 2 things to mention.
Well, we'll reassess next week.
I think we just go
whether
with
it's
sting
worthy.
next week.
Yeah.
That's it.
Stingless.
Just play the whole sting.
No, I reckon
Since the last time we were on air. Nick Floston and Corey Ellis re-signed at Richmond.
Yes.
One we're talking on.
My word.
Will Nick be okay this week?
Hey, that's up next in the injury list.
Oh, yeah, come on.
So, good news there with...
We got a sting for the injury?
No, we don't.
No, we didn't bother with that. So, good news there with Corey and Nick re-signing with the club. And
it is great news because they are 2 very, very talented young players.
Can I just give a shout out to Slowey from New Zealand?
Yeah, Slowey, yeah.
He was in the box.
In Hobart,
He was in Hobart and he sat in the box Friday night. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
So he's to blame?
No,
Slowey. I'm only kidding, Slowey.
Yeah. Injuries.
Yes.
Not very good on the weekend.
No.
We saw Steve Morris go down with the knee in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Still managed to get a hand pass out after that, which was
gutsy,
unbelievable.
It didn't look like there was much in it, did there?
No, it didn't. But unfortunately,
Unfortunately,
he's done the ACL.
When he didn't get up, because Steve Morris always
yeah.
gets up. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's confirmed ACL. Will have surgery in the coming weeks, so his 2016 season is over.
Okay.
That's when he was finding some good form.
Since we last went to air as well, Ben Lennon has been confirmed with the shoulder injury.
Yeah.
And he's having minor surgery to clean up the AC joint.
Can't take a trick this year.
So, yeah, he's on the injury list for 4 to 5 weeks. Bashir Hooley and Camden are just edging closer, but still a fair way away. And the other ones out of the weekend.
Griffo.
Yeah, Ben Griffith's lateral ligament sprain in his right ankle.
It was like a big tennis ball on his
post-game it was swelling up. But he's down as a fitness test this week to face Gold Coast. I think the longer break would have helped there.
They come up pretty quick, ankles.
What about Grimes you did before?
Yeah, Grimes in the warm-up.
On the ground.
Felt some hamstring soreness, so I wasn't risked there. He's also facing a test. He'll have to get through training later this week.
Well, Koch he saw Chappie out on the he didn't know what was going on.
Couldn't believe it. Well,
couldn't believe he had no idea that.
Speaking of Slowey, Chappie was actually up in the box, ready to do the game and settle in, and he got the last minute call up. And the other one, Nick Floston with concussion, sat out the second half and will face a fitness test later in the week. And in the VFL, Soldo got knocked out.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I don't mean to laugh at that, but he got knocked out in the first quarter and sat out the rest of the game, so he'll face a fitness test as well for Sunday. And that is the injury list for this week.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
I've had enough of something.
Oh, again?
No, I have. What?
Well,
it was confirmed for me on Friday night.
What was confirmed?
Tasmania deserves their own AFL team.
Oh, you and Tim Lane. Wouldn't you stop banging on about this?
I'm sick of it, mate. I'm sick of it because Hawthorn and North Melbourne, it's great that they're playing games down there, and Tasmanians support it unbelievably well. They have Hawthorn for years.
Yes.
And now North Melbourne in Hobart, they're packing out Bluntstone Arena.
Yeah.
18,000 people there. And
record crowd.
If you could have fit more in, they would have got them in. You couldn't get in.
Right.
The Tasmanian is a heartland of AFL footy. I reckon 4 of the best 10 players of all time come out of Tassie. Can you name them? Well, you can name one.
Oh, you.
Royce Hart.
Yeah. Hart, Stewart,
Bulldog, Hudson.
And you.
Hudson.
And you.
No, don't.
Yeah,
don't
and
do
Hudson.
This.
Yeah,
Hudson.
Yeah.
Okay, you could argue they're the 4 of the best players of all time.
Brent Croswell was all right too.
Tiger Croswell. The list goes on. It's time Tassie had their own team, and I agree with Tim Lane. Because you go up to the Gold Coast on Saturday. I know that Barry Lawrence, Disco Roach, Jack Revolt, Verdon Howe. The list goes on. There was only 3,000 people at the Gold Coast Suns game.
Brendan Gale,
Michael Gale,
yep.
Graham Wright. 3,000 people there.
Sam Lonigan.
3,000 people went to the Gold Coast Suns game, Tony.
Yeah. It was wet.
I don't care. It was cold in Tassie.
Yeah.
So if we don't get a team down there in the next 10 to 15 years...
Grant Alford.
It's a disgrace.
Paul Sproul.
I mean, it goes on and on and on. So you can be smart about it, Tony.
I'm not. I'm just saying. I'm endorsing what you're saying.
Or you can say that we deserve a team.
You deserve a team.
Thank you. We do. So anyway, there you go.
Yep. Darren Creswell.
Hey, Creswell was a good player.
Absolutely. Where would the team?
He's a very good player.
Where would the team be located? That would be the big talking
point.
I
think you'd play half your home games in Launceston and half in Hobart.
Unite the state.
Yeah.
The other talking point is who would you barrack for?
I'd barrack for Richmond, but I would.
Would you get involved with the Tasmanian club?
I'd take a close look at the Tasmanian team.
If they came to you and said, "We would like you to be officially involved with the club,"
I don't know. I'd have to see what happened at the time. But they deserve their own team. Anyway, our man's just walked in.
Daryl Sutton.
Okay, it's that time again where we talk VFL with Brent and Mann. How are you, Manny?
I'm good, Richard. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks. Now, in the spirit of the passing of the great man, Muhammad Ali, we obviously had that fantastic song, Black Superman.
Yeah, Johnny Wakelin.
By Johnny Wakelin. Tone, you brought that to the table. Manfred's brought his own take. He's brought a little Ali song in today. So
terrific. Yeah.
Hit it there, Sconzi.
So seductive. I take you to the candy shop. I let you
Bit of 50 Cent there, Manfred.
I'm not sure of the tie in there.
Candy shop.
It's a stretch.
50 Cent was one of the best poets of our time, so just tying in with Muhammad Ali there.
There it is.
That's fantastic.
I think he also bought Mike Tyson's house
He probably
at one
did.
point, so there's a boxing
great
tie.
There, he actually did too.
Yep.
Well, that's a good tie in there.
There you go. mate.
Very good.
You are a genius. You like the
Just
candy
how I
shop.
roll, Richo.
You
This is
love
how I
the bit
roll.
of the candy shop. So. You are a genius. I didn't know how you were going to tie that in.
That's brilliant.
Well, we better get serious, Manfred. That wasn't a great performance in the VFL on Saturday.
No,
Bit of a struggle.
It certainly was. Unfortunately, it was a 33-point loss to Coburg. The televised game, the first televised game of this year, the football world was watching, and we were quite disappointing. We didn't kick a goal to the fourth quarter, and it was hard to find winners on the day, but we'll move on and keep trying to improve.
What was the biggest issue? Was it the ball movement? What was it?
It wasn't ball movement. It was the two key areas of focus going into the game was contested ball and controlling the tempo. And in the first quarter, we got smacked around the contest. Right. -19 in contested ball, 2-quarter time. Coburg led us to the ball, and we were just chasing tail for the majority of the day.
Right.
There was one clear highlight. That was the form of Reece Conker, who was outstanding.
He was outstanding. Now, he did start slowly, but after quarter time, he was far and away our best player. He had 36 disposals, 21 contested.
Wow.
Kicked a goal, 5 clearances, 9 tackles, and he can't do much more to warrant senior selection.
Well, he'd have to come
back in. He was the only player really that looked at AFL level on the ground. So he's surely he comes back in this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another one who I liked was Jaden Short. How did he go?
He was good.
All kicks, I see.
Yes, all kicks. After a down week the week prior, he was cross half back again. 20 kicks and probably our cleanest ball user on the day. Most of those kicks were effective.
What role was he playing there?
Just across half back. So Castagna moved forward, Short moved back. Was that rebounding defender? Yeah. As I said, a lot of his kicks found targets, which was not easy on the day. It was pretty trying conditions.
Could you see him playing that role at AFL level?
I certainly can. I think his ball use and penetrating. He's got a very penetrating kick. I mean, he's not a big man. No, obviously.
But he could play like back pocket. Maybe if now that Morrow's obviously unfortunately out, he could play back pocket.
Certainly, and this role it's Dimmer's idea. You wanted to see how he went back there, and I think if he strings another couple of performances together, he is ready for AFL opportunity.
I want to ask about Mabior Chol. How did he go? And is he a chance in the next month to come into senior selection?
Now, he started back again, and in the first quarter, he probably had 4 or 5 spoils. Now, he is looking really capable as a key back, and he was swung forward in the fourth quarter and took a couple of really good contested marks, which our forward just couldn't do on the day. So he's turning into a legitimate possibility as a swingman. AFL opportunity, I'm not sure if he's ready at this stage of his development. I think he needs to be involved in the game probably a little bit longer, but the physical attributes he possesses probably point to the fact that I think he can play at AFL level, but maybe next year.
The other good thing when he plays back is that he uses the ball extremely well, doesn't he?
He certainly does. He's got a long left penetrating kick, and he seems to read the play very well as well. He takes a lot of intercept marks, which is that's an AFL trait.
That's good. That's a good positive.
A couple of other players, Jacob Townsend and Connor Menager, who was dropped back.
Townsend was solid again without being fantastic. Fly's looking for a bit of a lift in intensity, and he's got to start playing at the level as Fly puts it at that AFL level. So he was okay again without being fantastic. Menager was good after coming back from AFL opportunity. He had 18 disposals, played on a wing, 13 contested, and 5 clearances and 9 tackles.
Yeah. Okay, Manfred. So what's moving forward? Who have we got this week? And they just need to put that behind them.
Yeah, that's it. Football's a great game. You can move on pretty quickly. Sorry, I just found the table there. And we've got Werribee this week at 12:30 p.m. on Sunday as a curtain raiser to the Gold Coast game.
I've just got the VFL AFL Victoria Tribunal results here.
Yes,
What's happened? Daniel Butler.
Yes, it's
striking one premiership match he'll be missing for.
Yes, he's out for a match. Was
there much in it? What about Tom Hawkins?
Well, what happens when
it wasn't a Tom Hawkins top?
No.
I think Greeners has got some
when the umpire saw it, he said, "I'll get you, Butler."
Oh, there we go. Come on, Greeners.
Gee, on that note, I think one thing we do have to ask you about off the top of the show. We did notice you've got a few little side projects on the go. The VAFA. Tell us about
I'm
that.
a VAFA tragic.
Is that right?
Yes, I am. I recently retired St John's old collegian footballer and a VAFA tragic second year running. So
where can we get some of your finest work?
Some of my finest on vafa.com.au. Probably it'll be up tomorrow afternoon, I'd say.
I did watch last week's show.
Did you watch it last week's show?
I'll tell you what, there's a fair degree of wobble going on that show, Manfred.
There's a little bit of wobble, much like this show sometimes. Occasionally, there's a little bit of wobble.
And I think you're giving that jumper a decent hiding too. So.
No, it's a different jumper.
It is a different jumper.
I've got a large repertoire.
You've got two shockers. Same line.
I've got a large repertoire in the wardrobe, Tone.
Well, I think we'll leave it on that note, mate. Thank you for coming in again.
Good on you, mate.
Thank you, boys.
We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Now, Tone, if you're still living at home where Mum barracks for Carlton and Dad thinks you're born to mow the lawn...
She wouldn't be my mum if she barracked for Carlton.
I think it's time you found your own place. In fact, you should move out on your own.
It's not a bad idea.
You don't like human beings.
It's not a bad idea at all.
Save $27 a day and you can do it. Our valued sponsor, Caden, can kickstart you into your new apartment with $15,000 towards your deposit.
15,000?
15 large, Tone.
Wow.
This is all up front. They don't load the money into the price and there are terms and conditions, but no catches or hitches. Caden.com.au/kickstart will give you all the ins and outs, Tone.
I need a good kickstart.
Have you moved out yet, Tone?
We are going to move.
You are? You going to buy one of those or not? The apartments?
I'm because I know it's so close to the G, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's just up the road.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to get into the North Melbourne game, and you know.
Are we? Why?
Oh, yeah. I simply didn't come to play.
You
simply didn't turn up.
No, we did not.
They just had intensity right from the start, and
we just seemed rattled. We seemed rattled by Grimesy going off, in the warm-up. I don't know what it was, but we just seemed rattled.
Yeah, it was a bit off.
From the outset.
A lot off. It was, really disappointing. And, once they were a few goals in front, they just floored it.
They just do it to us every time.
They all tipped in.
They do it to us every time.
They are a good team, though.
Oh, yeah. I'm a bit tired of hearing about how good the opposition is each week.
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh, well.
We've got to be better than that.
Didn't come to play and then had a few opportunities to get back in it and miss some easy shots, and then that was it, really, wasn't it?
That was the game. In a nutshell.
Keeping small forwards and mids just topping up their goals has been a bit of an issue. Like we saw it with Fasolo and another example I can't think off the top of my head, but again, Harvey and Wells combined for 7 goals. Which is
we actually kept their tools.
Yeah, correct.
In check.
We did.
Kept them in check.
I thought that might have been an issue going in Waite and Petrie and Benny Brown, but they really didn't have a lot of impact. But as you say, it was their mediums and their mids that got a hold of us. And look, they're a good team, but I think we'd be very, very disappointed with that performance.
Oh, particularly because we had gained a bit of confidence in the previous 3,
We'd been good at the contested ball, and that dropped away. Yeah, hard to explain, but anyway, we'll do some votes on the game because there were some good performers, I thought. So I might start this week, hey?
Why not?
I gave 3 to Sean Grigg.
You're running the show, so...
I am. That's my show.
It's good.
3 to Sean Grigg. I thought he ran, and his contested ball was outstanding. A career high in disposals, and as you said, Tony, hasn't been below 22 all year. Had a very consistent year. I gave 2 to Alex Rance. He is a phenomenal player, Alex Rance. Wayne Carey said he was better than Glenn Archer.
Yeah, we had that story on the website
that's
too.
That's a pretty big rap.
Oh, he said he was as good as Archer. Compared him with him,
And, Duck, I know Duck doesn't say those things lightly,
No.
so... He held Jared Waite goalless. Well done. And Anthony Miles, he put his head over it as always and played a pretty solid game. I gave him 1.
JB?
Yeah, good, Richard. I went for 3 votes for Alex Rance. I thought Petrie was getting on his bike a lot and isolating those two. And, just the wins he had on the one-on-ones with Waite was...
Waite's having a pretty good year.
Yeah, correct. The scoreboard could have been a lot worse had it not been for Rancey, so I gave him the 3 votes.
How good's Waite been this year?
Yeah, he's been...
Yeah.
Just hang on. Waite's been good this year.
He's kicked a lot of goals.
We know he's been good,
but
he hasn't done much the last couple of weeks.
He's been good, Waite.
Speaking of good this year, I gave 2 votes to Sean Grigg for the reasons...
Very good this year.
You mentioned, picking up the ball and continually running, and 1 vote I gave to Anthony Miles for getting stuck in, winning the hard ball, and 29 touches and a goal.
Just before Tone does his votes, can I ask you a question, JB?
Yeah.
How good's Waite been this year?
He didn't kick a goal against Sydney, did he? He was very ordinary against Sydney.
Okay.
He's been good, though.
He's
hasn't
been pretty good.
He was very, very ordinary against Sydney.
If you could keep him goalless, it would have been a good result.
Good result. You kept him goalless. So, up to you now, Tone.
Is it? Okay. I gave 3 to Rance as well. He had a game-high 9 intercepts. His interception work is amazing, elite.
His willingness to come off his opponent and help out is elite.
Yep. And as Duck had said, if he wasn't out there, we might have got beaten by 20 goals the other night. 2 to Sean Grigg for all the reasons mentioned and everything. And I'll go 1 to the skipper, Trent Cotchin. He had over 30 disposals again and just worked his backside off trying to give us a lift.
Okay, so the leaderboard, Dusty, no votes this week. He's still in front on 43. Koch, second, 34. Rancey's jumped up into third place, 22. Sean Griggs jumped up into the top 5. He's on 18, and Jack rounds it out with 17.
Could your head get any bigger?
So it's time.
Could your head get any bigger?
So it's time for the Yellow and Blackers this week.
And
hey, JB,
burgeoning bonds.
Can you just read that email out again from our mate that emailed in this week?
Actually, I'll read one out, a tweet from the tail before I get to that, using hashtag Talking Tigers. He agrees with you, Richo, saying Tassie would get around the team and have more members than GWS and Gold Coast combined.
I agree with that as well.
Jeremy Weberley.
Vote of confidence for you.
Jeremy Weberley's from Tassie as well.
All right, I'll read the email again. It's from Rensman.
Yeah, what did he say, Rensman?
In regards to Richo's appalling record this year, would it be better off for him to nominate a player in the opposition as his yellow and black book specialer?
Yeah.
So we can put the Moz on them.
Yeah, okay, he's never quite grasped the concept of it. Really.
Okay, Rensman, I just want to play this grab from last week's show. I'm going to have a real crack this week. Yeah. I'm going to add a real layer to this week. I'm going for Alex Rance.
No.
I'm going with Alex Rance. He will hold Jared Waite goalless.
See, I don't like that sort of stuff.
How did
you just recorded that before we got in the studio today. I know you did because Connor's told me.
How did Jared Waite go on the weekend, boys? Did he kick a goal?
No, he didn't on the week before either.
I've nailed my yellow and black book special from last week. I said Alex Rance would hold Jared Waite
well
goalless.
Done, mate. Well done. 1 out of 11. Well done.
So I'm back in form.
1 out of 11. Well done.
So I'm back in form. So this week,
yes,
I am saying Dustin Martin will have 30 plus disposals.
Back on him.
Back on Dustin.
You're not going for any goals?
No.
Multiple goals?
No, he's playing more mid. Okay. So I'm saying he'll have 30 possessions and at least 15 contested as well. I'm going to add another layer. 2 layers on it.
2 layers? Double layer?
A layer cake.
That's layer upon layer.
That's a layer cake.
Yeah, layer cake. Righto. JB?
Last week I went with Anthony Miles.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Not shabby.
I'd say that's a win.
A tick.
Also,
yeah.
That's a tick.
29 touches and a goal this week.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for a layer for a player who wasn't in the team last week. I'm going to
that's a gutsy move.
I'm going to say Reece Conker is going to get a call up.
That's not gutsy.
Okay.
He was best for VFL.
He was best in the VFL.
This is out of respect for AC. This is
correct.
Yeah, okay.
It's all about AC, the tribute to him.
So any more layers or just that he'll play Conker?
Just that he'll play AFL and I think he'll go quite well.
Right. What's quite well? You want to nominate how many touches?
No, I think he'll stand out.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, last week I had Jack to kick a bag. It was more like a purse, I suppose. 2 goals would be a purse, wouldn't it?
Didn't have a lot of great opportunity.
No. So this week I'll put a layer on this. I'm going for Sam Lloyd, and I've got a layer on it.
Right.
Sam Lloyd will kick a career high 4 goals or more.
He's kicked 3 how many
9
times?
9 times. He will kick more than 3 goals this
weekend.
Kick
4 goals.
Well, he'll kick more than 3. That's 4, isn't it?
4 or 5.
Well, 4 is more than 3. He'll kick more than 3 goals.
All right.
Okay.
I like that. I think that's a good one. Well done.
That is a sting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
That's a great. So I left my tidbits at home, but I can go off the top of my head because I'm going to relate it to the greatest, of course, Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to sort of tie in a little bit his. Go on.
No one's rung for the quiz.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, that's bad luck.
Oh, so no one is listening.
No one's listening.
Hello. Anyway.
It's the first time no one's ever rung for the quiz.
I'll give myself the tea this week.
You can take it.
What about when Straubs? No one rang him for that.
No.
Because it was wrong.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was just seeing if anyone was listening, you see, and no one was. So I'm going to relate it in with the gross Muhammad Ali and the Tigers. So, of course, 1964, when he won the title from Sonny Liston, that was a watershed year in Richmond Football Club history because that was our last year at Punt Road. Yep. That was the year where we started turning everything around. Len Smith as coach and everything.
Moved to the MCG.
Yeah, well, that was the following year, but that was the year that we organised all that. Okay, so that was a pivotal year.
Yep, for Muhammad and for Richmond.
And for Richmond, okay.
Yep, like it.
Fast forward to 67. Okay, that was the year that we, of course, broke a premiership drought, and won our first flag in 24 years. Okay, that was the year, of course, 67. That was his final fight, Muhammad Ali's final fight for 3 years, because he wasn't allowed. He was stripped of his title because he
wouldn't go to Vietnam
and serve in Vietnam. Okay,
Yep.
Okay. So then he makes his comeback. We missed the finals in 1970 after winning the flag in 69. Comes back in 71, has the fight of the century against Joe Frazier. We come back in 71 and played finals, finished in preliminary final. Okay.
Yep.
He went on in 1973.
Yep.
Okay. He had that fight we mentioned before. Ken Norton. Okay.
Yep.
We went, which was lost it the first time, won it the second time. We went on and won the flag against Carlton. The following year, 1974. Okay. So we went back to back, beat North Melbourne in 74. 1 month after that, we beat North Melbourne in the 74 grand final. He had the Rumble in the Jungle in Zaire, okay, which was at 3 o'clock in the morning their time. I was on to get the prime time in America. It was, so one of the greatest fights of all time, of course. And then the following year, we went on and played finals again. So we're after a hat trick that year. Just missed out, played preliminary final,
and that was, of course, the year of his hat trick fight with Fraser, the Thriller in Manila. Geez, you're good, aren't you?
My tidbits, okay.
Aren't you good?
The Thriller in Manila, the greatest fight of all time.
I like it. That was good.
There you go. Oh, there was one more.
What happened in 1980?
Well, that's right. He fought for the world title against Larry Holmes in 1980, just about a week or two after we smashed Collingwood in the grand final.
And he had a big, leading up to that fight at Caesars Palace, Muhammad had a big preparation for that fight.
Is that right?
Yeah. Very good preparation. Hey, Tone.
Yeah?
What's your doc's number? Oh, I've got to go on Crookers.
Really?
Yeah.
On the way home, well, I can,
drop me off.
Drop you off there. Yeah. A farmer was milking his cow, right? And he was just starting to get... cow was chewing its cud before then. He was just starting to get a good rhythm going, right? When a bug flew into the barn and started circling his head. You're right? Suddenly the bug flew into the cow's ear. The farmer didn't think much about it until the bug squirted out into his bucket. So it went in one ear and out the other. Oh. You right, Matthew?
You are Puna.
I went to the doctor the other day.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah. The same one I'm going to take you to. Yeah, I told him I felt run down. He said, "Why do you feel like that?" I said, "Because I got tyre marks on my legs." Come on, mate, lift.
I've got tears in my eyes.
A mate of mine is a member of Mensa. You know Mensa? Yeah. And he's a tailor. Yeah. Yep. He's a clever so-and-so. Why did the chicken go to the seance?
Why?
To get to the other side.
One more.
One more?
That's it.
There's a new restaurant that's open in town.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know if you heard about it, called Karma.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's no menu. You just get what you deserve.
Oh, Tony, you've done well there. I enjoyed that. Thank you. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Another big show there on Talking Tigers. We play the Gold Coast this Sunday at the G. Don't forget, it's Sunday Fun Day. Free for the kids, plenty of activities and meal deals at the G. Make sure you get there and make sure you listen next week to Talking Tigers. Thank you.
R.I.P. the greatest.
Muhammad, the black Superman who calls to the other guy, Ali. Catch me if you can.